जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हे गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशिशिमात भय शरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशिशिमात भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय जय विष्णुपाद शिव गौर किशोरदास बाबूजी महाराज की जय जय विष्णुपाद शिव सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय जय विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वभाव शिव जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ सद गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय श्री मायापुर धाम की जय श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी देवी की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन याग की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to all the devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Jai Shri Shri Guru Shri Gauranga, Jai Shri Shri Guru Shri Gauranga, Jai Shri Shri Guru Shri Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Vedramayane Chaiva Purane Bharate Tatha Adavante Chamadhye Cha Hari Sarvatra Giyate Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum langete girim Yat kripatamaham bande Shigurum dinatarine Paramananda madhavam Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Melitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shiguro Shiyuta Padakamalam Shigurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusuta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Mevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Hema Vajibhya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Shri Chaitanya Chandraya Namaha Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we have a class, continuation of the last class. We will continue reading this Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur book, The Teaching of Lord Chaitanya. And we will try to read and comment. So just we offer our prayers to all previous acharyas, first of all to our Srila Gurudeva, then to Srila Prabhupada, then to all acharyas, and to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, to Sri Radha and Krishna, so that we can be successful today by discussing this very priceless priceless instructions given by Shishimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. And last time we just started the first chapter. The first chapter is called the search for truth. And the search for truth means and we just started with one paragraph only, and today we will continue. So this is in fact is man's highest objective search for truth. So why do people not accept that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead? Yeah, because they think Krishna is beyond this world and far away. So that means he is transcendental. What does he care about me? They sometimes say, where is this Krishna? Why does he allow people to suffer in this world? But when we understand who we are originally, we realize that this body is foreigner. This body is foreigner to us, and this world is also foreign to us. Whereas Krishna is very close to us, and he possesses the same qualitative nature. Qualitatively, is equal as is the same qualitative nature as we do, and this realization is the true search for truth. That is the highest goal of life. So what people should really strive for. Like, for example, if we take our own tradition, and we can see this clearly. So devotees want to establish varnashrama system. Like varnashrama system is the social division. Like we have brahmacharis, grihastas, vanaprasthas, sannyasis. But what is the goal? So one may simply strive for an external position in this world, just to become a successful family man, and it is also fashionable now that show others that devotees are socially good and that they have money and they are fully integrated into society. All right, this is okay. Someone else becomes a vanaprastha in old age, just to inspire elderly people to die in the right way and to meet death among those who are similar to them. Yeah. Still someone else wants to become a sannyasi, to work with danda, to accept honor, to share blessings, to travel, and to open centers, temples. But the real question is, in which type of consciousness? In which type of consciousness? It might well be that all of this becomes nothing more than a sophisticated way to enjoy a particular position in this world also. So this can be merely a refined justification. So the goal of varnashrama system also is ultimately vishvaksena kathasviyaya dharma svanushtita pumsam vishvaksena kathasviya utpade yadiratim shramayeva hi kevalam kamasinendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasi tattva jigyaso. That means tattva jigyasa, to lead us to the search for truth, and to bring us finally at the end precisely to that search for truth which Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur describes here. So it is clear that for someone living in a renounced order of life, it may be easier to devote himself exclusively to the search for truth because he has so much time. He is not obliged to work so much, but he doesn't have to think about earning money for maintenance and about supporting his family, about maintaining a position in society, nice position. But there is another side, the danger of to be honored person, to be glorious person, to receive fame, name, prestige. If such a person is successful in his renounced role, if people begin to see him as a saint, they will start to glorify him. And the test becomes even more subtle test. That is why Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur says, if our only goal is the search for truth, then our life will be filled with peace, bliss, and happiness, regardless of our social position. So it is not sannyasa that makes a person just pure, and it is not family life that makes him just worldly. What matters is the goal. Why the goal of our purity, the goal of our life, actually. That is the question, the real question is here. What is behind this? So what matters is the goal for which he lives. And here a very interesting point is made, as we already said, that in essence it is impossible to know this transcendental autocrat, this Supreme Lord, this transcendental autocrat. It's impossible to know him by material means. So the two words themselves are very deep. The word transcendental is often understood as far away, beyond, having nothing to do with us. So very far away from this world, yeah. And we can say sometimes we can say this ironically, or if somebody becomes he's acting very strange way, so does not pay attention to anyone, so he just like dreaming, and we can say it's just like yeah, we say with a certain smile, we say he's a bit transcendental. Oh Prabhu, you are a bit transcendental. So in the same way, someone may think that Krishna is transcendental. He has nothing to do with my problems. I have so much problems. What Krishna is not dealing with it. The second word is, as we said already, the transcendental autocrat. The second word is autocrat, or we can say self-ruler, sovereign. So that means he does what he himself wants. He does what he himself wants. In the material world, everyone also wants to be a little autocrat. Yeah, I make my own decisions, my own commitment. I do not submit to anyone. Therefore, anything transcendental is often subconsciously perceived as hostile. On the other side of the border, who is living? Our enemy. Yes. This is another part of the world. This is our enemy. Behind an iron curtain. Yeah. But here we are shown a completely different perspective. The perspective for all humanity, and the transcendental autocrats, as we said already, invites us to develop a spirit of service to Him. So why is this so important? Because all of us are actually searching for Him and Him alone. This is our eternal search. So we carry out our everyday duties, but we do not find satisfaction there. Yeah, to be honest, we are not satisfied by our everyday life. And because of this disappointment, people eventually turn to the idea that the ultimate reality must be an impersonal truth. Impersonal. Some contemporary forms of religion accept such an understanding. They deny that God can have a form, that He is a person. As a result, a person gradually loses even ordinary personal qualities. Even simple cultural expressions disappear. Therefore, sometimes we say, oh, this bhakta is a little bit transcendental, because so much impersonalism is there. For example, when you see a sadhu, saint person, what should you feel? Joy. When you see a Vaishnava, you should rejoice. As my spiritual master once said, this is the first step of sense control. That's when you see Vaishnava, you happy, you smiling. At the beginning, we may not yet fully feel this joy internally, but at least externally, like as a kind of discipline. So we should show joy when we see another Vaishnava. And maybe in family life, sometimes it is more difficult because husband and wife may both be Vaishnava, but you know that that person too well, too close. Nevertheless, this too is sense control. That should not be. Familiarity is there also. In this way, the transcendental autocrat makes us control our senses. So we think, I do something for him, but it never reaches him. So what kind of injustice is this? But this is just our perception. If there is no love, we cannot know Krishna. That is what is being said here. So to be honest, the search for truth is in fact the search for the object of loving service. More precisely, we are seeking not some impersonal truth, but a person whom we can love and serve eternally. So today people often do not even understand what truth means. What is the meaning of truth? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati speaks in very complex language, actually, addressing scholars. So we have to explain his terms. Yeah. People tend to think of truth as a kind of idea. But that is not the case. Truth must fully satisfy our inner need for truth. If there is even a grain of falsehood in it, we will not be completely satisfied. It must be true on all the levels, for our senses, for our mind, for our intelligence. And not only for us, but for all living beings. Such truth is a person, Krishna, the one and only supreme truth. So every day our search begins anew when we take our beads, our japamala. In this way we search for truth. It may seem that we have already found it, but in reality it is an ongoing process. I take my japa beads and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This truth manifests before me when I serve. And when I avoid a service, the truth slips away from me. That is why he is a transcendental autocrat. Even this one phrase contains tremendous depth. Transcendental, beyond material perception. Autocrat, self-satisfied, fully independent. He is fully satisfied in himself, and all his desires are fulfilled. Yet he wants love. He wants loving relationship with us. And this, in fact, is the goal of human life. To understand this is only possible by the mercy of Guru. So, Guru has no other occupation, and the disciple has no other occupation than to satisfy Krishna. So, we may occupy any position. We are not saying that all the variety of positions in this world is bad. In reality, one may hold any position, it does not matter which, but one must please Krishna. That is why we say the important thing is to seek Krishna. And why do we seek Krishna? Krishnanusandhanam. Because Krishna is filled with all perfections. All perfections. He is fully conscious person. If you merely think of him, he is already thinking of you. So you have an eternal connection with him. We suffer because we have so many desires. So Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur calls it this phenomenal attraction. External objects that come into our field of vision and attract us and seduce us. Because of that, we suffer. Yeah. So we think, how interesting. Let me try to buy the expensive car. Maybe I just need to move somewhere just with a sea view. Maybe I move to Bali. People go to Bali. I remember when I was at the airport, I was having my visa around time, and I had to fly to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, maybe about 2 to 3 hours by plane, and then immediately return, just to activate my new visa, new KITAS visa. And on the way back, it felt like the United Nations, like all kind of nationalities, all skin colors, all in one plane, they go to Bali. The difference is this: they were flying to experience some kind of bliss, enjoyment, material enjoyment, because they have so many desires to relax, to enjoy that. And it seems that on that paradise island, because when you enter into airport, Denpasar airport, you will see that welcome to the last paradise in this world. So on that paradise island, their wishes will be fulfilled. At the same time, others were leaving Bali and going back home. First, I was in the group of those who were leaving, and then I flew in the same direction as those who were arriving. So I like to observe. So I was observing. I noticed that nothing really changed in people's face. People's faces never changed. They rested, spent some time there, and then flew away in the same tension as before. Not satisfied. Nothing fundamentally changed. But if a person obtains Krishna, his previous life actually comes to an end. So he will not remain the same. So what do we receive? So what do we receive from Krishna? He is full of all opulence, all perfections. We must understand that whatever opulence we receive from him will not be material but transcendental. Vaibhava. Vaibhava means opulence, wealth. And but what we receive is Chit Vaibhava, spiritual wealth of consciousness. Then question arises, why do I need such a transcendental friend? Here in this world, I need a friend who can help me here and now. But the problem is that this world is not suitable place for us. Sripach Chandra Maharaj once said in a lecture that nowadays many young women use all kind of cosmetics to increase their beauty. They put on makeup, theatrical cosmetics, and artistic cosmetics, all sort of things. And if you want a beautiful material body, you have to constantly do something with it, like some makeup. But if you please Krishna, you will be beautiful without that. Even you are beautiful without any makeup. You won't need cosmetics at all. In other words, the real source of beauty is to please that all-attractive Lord, Krishna. He gave the example of his father and his uncle. He said, they never even, the Chipachachandra Maharaj, he spoke, that his father and uncle were worshipping Krishna. They were worshipping also Lord Krishna, and they never even using soap. They simply engaged in service to Krishna, and yet there was never any bad smell from their bodies. Like we have, sometimes we feel perspirations and bad smell is there. So we have to clean our body or we use some perfume. They were never doing. So if someone becomes a devotee of Krishna, he becomes beautiful in all aspects. Also, as a devotee of Krishna, such a person can obtain all kind of knowledge, not only beauty but also knowledge. There is no need to read countless books. Actually, I know. Yeah, one my friend, he likes to collect so many books. Me also. I've grown up in such a family, but you just try to understand that the no need to read countless books. Like Gaurakishore Das Babaji, he did not read a single book in his life. Our whole life may pass while we keep reading and reading, and so on. And what might we miss in the process? We know the six transcendental, six traditional, or we can say, opulences, yeah, in Sanskrit. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasa saya. Aishwarya means sovereignty, power, and virya, strength, shri, beauty, dhana, wealth, yasha, fame, and tyaga, renunciation. If a person pleases Lord Hari, he will get everything necessary. Whatever he needs, you can get even one of these opulence you get. You cannot, like you can say in Bengali language, they have some proverb. They say, God has 10 hands. If God wants to take something away from you, you cannot keep it. Cannot keep it off because God can. Yes, 10 hands. You have only 2 hands. And another is God has 10 hands. If He wants to give you something, how much you can take? Because with your only 2 hands, how much you can take? So just you please Lord Hari, He will give you at least 1 drop of His opulence. It's enough. You will be completely satisfied. Like my Shiksha Guru, once he gave this example from Orissa, from India. Like when Srila Guru Govinda Swami Maharaj, first time he came to the village to Nayapali, near the Bhuvaneshwar. At the time Bhuvaneshwar was not so big city, and just to build a temple there. At that time, now the center of the city, but that time it was basically jungle on the outskirts. So he wrote to Srila Prabhupada and asked, could you please send me money and men? And Srila Prabhupada replied, I have given you Krishna. What more do you need? I have given you everything. You already have Krishna. And Prabhupada said, when I came to America, I had only 40 rupees in my pocket. Just go and preach. Krishna will give everything. I have given you Krishna. So Srila Gaura Govinda Swami Maharaj, he built the temple essentially only by Krishna's mercy. But if you are late for prasadam, we become angry and disturbed. Why no prasadam is there? Why I'm hungry? But someone who serves Krishna who does not think, oh, will there be prasadam or not? Like Srila Gaura Govinda Swami Maharaj, he's the best example. He never demanded any food. Devotees recall that he was always satisfied. So it is very interesting to read about how he was taking prasadam. One devotee recalls that he traveled with him to many places and never once saw Srila Guru Govinda Swami Maharaj suffer from, like we can say, unbearable hunger. Why? We are suffering from hunger. He never suffered. Because someone who truly serves Krishna is already nourished by that service itself. He is not fed by food. He is fed by love. Someone may say, I don't need a car. Because if I buy one, how I will pay for petrol, gas? But Krishna may need a car. Maybe you don't need, but Krishna may need a car for his service. If we truly surrender to Krishna, he will take care of the car, the fuel, and everything else. But if we are not surrendered, why should he take that responsibility? We want this car only for myself, for my own interest. In the spiritual world, no fool is required. Actually, the good news for us, no external lights are needed. No electric light. Everything is self-effulgent because there is no darkness there at all. Like Lord Chaitanya came to convey precisely this message. If we make Krishna happy, then we ourselves will be happy. In this way, his followers are happy when Krishna is pleased. And they carry this message to everyone, to all the souls. Lord Chaitanya clearly and systematically explains that through service we attain Nitya Ananda. Nitya Ananda means eternal bliss. So that is what we have all come here for. We have come here for that. If someone has become attracted to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, he will no longer be attracted by anything material. Like once, Mother Sita Devi gave Hanuman a beautiful necklace. Hanuman took it, but into it with his teeth and then threw it away. Bit into it with his teeth and threw it away. Sita was surprised and upset. Why did he do that? Why did he beat this necklace with his teeth? I gave him a necklace and he chewed it and threw it away. It's not good, actually. What a foolish monkey. And Lord Ramachandra said, let us ask him. Let us ask him himself why he did that. Hanuman replied, I examined it to see, I tested it to see whether there was any value in it for my Lord Rama. If it has no use for him, why should I wear it? If my Lord Rama doesn't need it, I offer to my Lord Rama, but he doesn't need it. So why I need it? Why do I need it? It has lost all value for me. So that is the mood of devotee. I do not need any material wealth. I need only Krishna Seva, service to Krishna. So we accept a spiritual master in order to receive service. So why? Because we do not know what kind of service will actually satisfy Krishna. Like chanting japa, merely japa is not enough. We chant japa for what? We chant japa for our own benefit. It is also required. The holy name is itself service. The service itself is holy name. But only when we chant in the proper mood, in the mood of service, then whatever we do in this mood also no different than chanting the holy name. And after chanting 16 rounds, we are going to do seva. Prabhupada established such standard for initiated devotees. Yeah. When our body becomes completely transcendental, we have hope that chanting alone will be sufficient. You can imagine. But for now, we are not on such level. That is not our level. We must engage our body, mind, and speech in service. So that is why the Society for Krishna Consciousness exists, created by Srila Prabhupada 60 years ago. So even if something there does not please us, the best thing we can do is to keep coming and serve, helping in some kind of service. If we accept a spiritual master, he can tell us what service will satisfy Krishna. Therefore, it is so important to receive individual instructions from Guru. That is what love of God means in practice, actually. It's not that we keep some love in our pocket, accumulated there, and never share it with anyone else. Oh, I chant my japa. I go to Varshana and chant Radhe, Radhe. Yeah, because that is, I have love, my love in my pocket. I don't share with others. No. The real pure love develops when we actually serve. The process of service means complete self-offering, self-abandoning, without expecting anything in return. At the beginning, this practically means simply performing our service regularly. Even if something in the behavior of other devotees displeases us, we do not give up our service, we do not disappear, then love grows. So, in accordance with the definition given by Srila Rupa Goswami, even if all external circumstances push one towards breaking the relationship, but one still maintain it, this is called the real love. Like Srila Prabhupada left us this standard of 16 rounds of japa. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, on the contrary, advised chanting 64 rounds. So what is the solution? Sometimes devotees from, not from ISKCON, from other organizations, criticize us. Oh, your standard is very low. You're chanting only 16 rounds, not 64. But in reality, many who chant 64 rounds, are they attentive? Sometimes they become attentive only towards the end of their chanting, the final round. This means that in practice, they are not chanting 64 rounds attentively. So Srila Prabhupada actually gave us very high standard. We must do our best to chant 16 rounds attentively. If a devotee cannot concentrate on 16 rounds, he may chant more, but not as an excuse, rather as a help to gain attention. Srila Prabhupada gave us 16 rounds in service to Krishna. If chanting japa becomes just a duty that we mechanically perform, it will be impossible to perform service with the heart. The heart is very important. The object of our seva, of our service, Krishna, will not be pleased, and the Vaishnavas will not be pleased either, because we render service by engaging all the senses. So there was one pujari, deity worshipper, who lived with his wife and child near the temple. And the temple president took care of him. However, he always began the morning worship late and coming late, performing the puja very quickly, 1-2 times, then ran to the cinema movie. At the end, Krishna himself simply expelled him from the temple because he developed no more desire to stay in the temple. One day he came to his guru and said, Gurudev, please allow me to go to the cinema with my whole family. I want to watch the movie. And then he left for another place. So why he ran away? He ran away because in reality he was not engaged in serving Krishna at all. So it is important to understand. If we truly strive to chant the holy name, we will naturally strive to serve as well. These two things are inseparable. So when someone develops love for Krishna, he becomes greedy. Yes, greedy, but in transcendental way. He becomes greedy for service. If Krishna gives us some specific service that he personally wants from us, and because of that we have no time for 64 rounds, that is not a problem. But if we have no service at all, then we certainly have enough time to chant more japa. In such a case, we must chant at the same time and at the same time pray for service of Krishna. Chant and at the same time pray. This service will bring us peace and bliss. So in such a case, the difficulty is that we ourselves do not know what service will satisfy Krishna, what type of service. Therefore, we need the help of spiritual master, Guru. He will tell us, because he is a dear devotee of Krishna. Like we all have prana, living force, life force. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur said, prana chitara se hetu prachara. One who has prana, he preaches. When Srila Gaura Govinda Swami Maharaj was doing Padayatra festival in Orissa, that means they were traveling through the state and doing kirtan and giving classes to local villagers, to local people. And because in Orissa, most of the people, they were villagers. So Srila Gaura Govinda Swami Maharaj, he saw that no one came to hear his class. No one paid attention. He said, why I should stay here? Why should I stay here? It is better for me to return back to the temple, to Bhuvaneshwar, where so many of my disciples are waiting for me. Yes, when I will speak Krishna Katha. And Shpashtan Chandra Maharaj, he recalls this. He said, we thought that Guru Maharaj will arrive at 10 p.m. in the evening. He will be tired and we will perform Guru Puja, just we will, like we can say, we will accept him. We will wash his feet. This is tradition also, and let him take rest. But another devotee did not agree, and he said, "No, Guru Maharaj must give a lecture." The place, like which is now the parking place in Skon Temple, Bhuvaneshwar. So the disciples arranged everything. And Srila Gaura Govinda Swami Maharaj arrived late, and they performed Guru Puja. They worshipped their Guru. Many Western disciples were there. I have listened this recording of this class. So nice class. And then he began to speak. And suddenly he said, preaching gives rise to life. Preaching gives life. Preaching generates life. When someone preaches, life awakens in him. And he added that I almost died on that Padayatra because I could not speak Krishna Katha there. Nobody was listening, nobody was interested. But now you have arranged everything and life has returned to me again. It is very important to understand. The service to Krishna is the source of life for a devotee. He simply cannot live without service. Preaching and Sankirtana are, of course, the most important forms of service, of course, but all other types of Krishna Seva support and serve them. Yes, in the spiritual world, all rasas, all types of mellow in the relationship of Krishna serve the topmost mellow, Madhurya Rasa, the conjugal love of Krishna. Thus, if we serve Krishna, we have life. Service generates life. So why does pessimism sometimes appear in the heart of devotees? Because life has gone. And life goes away when there is no service. Even we are listening so much, but not doing service, it cannot help. That is why Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur could say that Krishna is a transcendental autocrat. That means he has right on us. We have no separate life of our own. It may seem to us that Krishna is somewhere beyond everything. He's transcendental, means adhokshaja. Adhokshaja means beyond the senses. But when we engage in service, life returns to us and he becomes very close to us. Krishna, who seemed transcendental, becomes immanent. This Bhaktivinoda Saraswati could use this word immanent, like oppositional to transcendental. Very close, very relevant to our own nature. Through service, Krishna becomes dear and close to us. And this is why the search for truth is necessary. So in fact, all people are searching for truth. Some understand that truth lies beyond this world. Some understand. And more thoughtful people realize that truth is a person, not just idea, not just conception. And that I myself am a person too. I have individuality also, eternal individuality. So I'm the person also. I have my own will, and and at the summit of understanding, we discover that the highest truth is my relationship with this person, the topmost person. How can I come closer to him? How can I serve him? That is what we must realize. Krishna is waiting for our service. If I focus on this, then rasa will develop. Rasa develops. So what Srila Prabhupada called the sweet taste of relationship, mellow, we can attain Krishna through this service based on this mellow, seva rasa. The nectarian taste of serving Krishna. At first, this will simply bring us joy. And then our personal relationship with Krishna will begin to unfold. We will realize our Swarupa, our spiritual identity. Thus, it is not enough to realize only that I am a soul. That is the beginning, when we become peaceful. We become peaceful, we get peace. But after that, we get Ananda, Shanti, Ananda. Then we get Prema, personal relationship with Krishna. So I am a soul is just beginning level. When we just understand that I'm a soul, we feel ourselves very peaceful. We must also realize what Paramatma is, the super soul in the heart. And even that is not enough. We must realize the source of Paramatma in full, Krishna. So we have forgotten Krishna. We endlessly repeat, I need this, I need that in this material world. We sit and browse like catalog on the internet and choosing what to order. We want so many material things. We chase them day and night. We meditate on them. And when we do not get them, we fall into depression. We do not know what we really need. In this way, we have taken shelter of unfavorable things, anartha. From morning till night, we serve Maya, illusion, illusory energy. Therefore, we suffer. So we constantly calculate everything. Once I asked my Shiksha Guru, I asked, so I just came from that place, maybe I go to Nepal, maybe I go to Indonesia. His answer was very deep. He said, you are still calculating. You're still calculating. That means you're not surrendered. So there is no time left for service to Krishna. If you only calculate where I will go, where shall I get name, fame, prestige, and there is no time to think about Krishna's pleasure. Yet we devote so much time to serving Maya, external energy. So just that is very deep behind this. Because when we have no time, but life is very short. Life is going. How much time do we have? We don't know. We don't really know. Maybe life will stop after a moment. We don't know. Like yesterday, I was listening class of Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj. He was in Vrindavan. He was temple president in Vrindavan. And just inside the temple, he was shot by gundas, gangsters. And he survived. And after that, he started preaching everywhere. He took sannyas and started preaching everywhere. Actually, he lost, maybe a few years ago, he left this world, suffering from cancer, but he was never suffering. This was just a lila, and he was in Vrindavan, and he was leaving this world, just to inspire us. To inspire, you should do Krishna Seva. Don't waste your time. So when we listen to topics about Krishna, Maya never sleeps. She immediately tries to arrange everything so that we look somewhere else, notice something else, because it is difficult for us to concentrate. Like before Shipashtanchandra Maharaj left this world, that 1 month before, that time was Guru Puja in the temple, inside the temple, and he also was there with all the disciples. And at the very moment, so much noise coming out from the neighbor's side, and the villagers under the window of the temple, like from this on the side, they killed a man. Killing a man. This man was a criminal. He was raping women in this village. So they organized this lynching, and specifically during the kirtan, so that his screams would be drowned in the sound of the mridangas and karatals. But what happened, almost all the devotees immediately left the deities and ran outside to see what was going on beyond the temple walls. And Shipashtanchandra Maharaj alone remained in the outer room, almost alone. And later he said, so Maya is so strong, something terrible happens or something attractive, and our interest instantly shifts from service to Krishna to service to Maya. Even during the Guru Puja time, during the worship of Krishna. If something horrible and something attractive, immediately we run away. So Maya gains the opportunity to influence us. We have given her certain privilege. She whispers, if you stay in the temple of your spiritual master, of your guru, you will never earn money, never gain followers. No one will glorify you. Or on the contrary, if you stay near your guru, you will become famous and get everything. You will be second. After your guru leave this world, you will be number one. Both are Maya, the prompting of Maya. My teacher, my Shiksha Guru, he once said, just before his departure, that about that. He just gave this example. That some disciples may think that better we leave Guru's place because we cannot get rid of him. Guru is everywhere dominating, so we cannot dominate here. But in spiritual world, only Krishna is predominator. And other thought the opposite. They thought, let our Gurudev remain the president of this temple, and we will obtain all benefits through him. So many wanted to take advantage of this opportunity and within the temple walls maybe find a beautiful wife or husband or manage to settle down near the Guru. And he spoke about that in the class. This too is Maya. Even our heart, we are not serving Krishna. Sometimes devotees say, how can we get the opportunity to live with Guru? They have no idea how many temptations arise when you live next to a pure devotee. So devotees sometimes came to Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur and complained, oh, this devotee did this, this devotee is doing that, so he gave me, so this devotee is very bad, like that. He has bad quality, so often he would say, I know. Just carry on with your service. In this way, he showed that the Guru knows everything. Guru is not like a donkey overloaded with baggage. Guru knows everything because he lives in connection with Krishna. So why waste our Guru's time with constant complaints about others? Our task is to chant properly and perform our service. And Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur writes, we have heard from the divine voice of Sri Gurudeva the following text of the scriptures. O thou Muni, who art given to mental speculation, whatever act is performed, whether it be mundane or spiritual, should be performed in the way that is conducive to the service of Sri Hari, if one is really anxious to acquire the function of spiritual devotion. This very high class language. That means he's saying, we heard from the divine voice of our Gurudev, who is reciting these words of scriptures. He said, O thou means, O you, Muni. Muni means wise man, who inclined to mental speculations. Whatever you do, and whether on the worldly or the spiritual level, do it properly in such a way that it helps the service of Lord Hari. So genuinely strive for him. Be anxious to act in the spirit of devotion. so that you may obtain the function of spiritual service. This is not wonderful? Here in one verse, the entire path of a Vaishnava is expressed. Do whatever you must, but do it so that it helps service to Hari, Lord Krishna. And Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur concludes, we happen to be servants of the devotees of God. We are not servants to either elevationists or liberationists. Elevationists or liberationists. The elevationists are those who want to move ever higher and higher, elevators, we can say. Socially, religiously, even spiritually, they won't just get high position in material world. And liberationists are those who want to stop all movement altogether, to dissolve in peace. But the devotee says, we carry on. He says, we are the bearers of Hari's own footwear. So we carry on the heads the sandals of Lord Hari. Under the circumstance, we do not join issue with the communities that desire any other thing beside the service of God, of Godhead, like elevation or liberation. It means, therefore, under these circumstances, we do not enter into debates with groups of people who are striving for something, other than service of God, who seek elevation or liberation. And he concluded, for we know that the worship of Dharma, Artha, Kama, or Moksha is merely deceitfulness. In other words, they have a close connection with my addiction to the non-self. So that means we know the worship of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is simply cheating. Those material goals. Those four goals are just different forms of material position. Like Dharma means religiosity, like piety, pious activities, so that you can get position in the heavenly planets, or even in this material world you can get position in higher caste. Artha, economic prosperity, good living conditions, health for body and mind, this is all Artha. Kama, enjoyment, respect, prestige, offspring also. Your next generation, your son, daughter, this is called Kama. And moksha, liberation. So as my spiritual master said, nowadays, if devotees do not want to have children, I do not force them. Because in our times it is not necessary. More important to take care about your own spiritual life. Except if you are a member of a royal dynasty, so then you have to have children, because you must to continue the line. Or maybe there is a dynasty of Vaishnavas, dynasty of the pure Vaishnavas like Prabhupada. He and Srila Guru Govinda Swami Maharaj, they appeared in such a dynasty. That is another thing, and this is another thing. So there is no real sense in claiming today that Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha are obligatory steps for everyone. So just very important to achieve this, the highest platform, and to in this material world, and like to get high position, to be very pious, to know Sanskrit, to know many language, to accumulate so much knowledge, to get respect to be respected in universities by scholars, by scientists, to accumulate so much money, so much property. It's not so important. just serve Krishna. He then writes this, that in other words, they have a close connection with my addiction of the known self. That means these various communities of people are attached to something other than service to Krishna. Therefore, I will not argue with them. Yes, we do not join issue with the communities that desire any other thing. Join issue. That means we not never argue with them. Under any circumstances, I will continue the search for truth. For it is only for this that I have received the human form of life. And that is the final point. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. We will stop here. And just we passed through already 2 paragraphs. So today, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Shishimad Bhaktivedanta, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj ki jai. Jai Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Is there any questions? Maybe you can ask, write down in the commentary. Write down in the comments any question. Facebook or YouTube or Zoom. Okay, if there is no question, so then we stop now. We will continue next time. I will announce Hare Krishna, Vanshika Patarubhescha Kripasinubhyavcha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo.